Hi everybody and Happy New Year. Starting off with a light water wash. I'm going to be starting off by mixing some gray and black together, and we're going to make a mountain range in the background. So I intentionally just drag my brush across, and getting a little bit of the dry white paper coming through is exactly what I want because we're trying to make the look of snow on top of a rocky mountain. So you can see I'm intentionally leaving some white areas, and I'm holding my brush pretty strong angle, just really trying to now saturate the bottom half of the mountain because we do want the look of fog. So I'm using just a little bit more water toward the base of the mountains. And again, you don't want every mountain to look exactly the same. You want them to look different. So some can be darker than others, some can have more areas of white or less areas of white. I'm just using straight water to let the base of the mountain kind of fade out from that gray into a nice white. We're going to be adding water toward the bottom of our picture, so we want it to look like there's a nice mist happening. Just taking my hair dryer to speed things up. Actually, this isn't my hair dryer. I'm using a heat gun for this, but you can use a hair dryer. I just find that my hair dryer was a little bit too strong, so this one gives a nice soft blow to it, so it's not harsh and kind of blowing the water out of all over the place. So I'm just going to lightly coat the bottom of the painting now with some water just to re-wet the paper because we do want to start working with the bottom half. Now I'm beginning to lay in a few of my trees, and I'm not going to make these too dark because again, these are a little bit further in our background and they're going to be a little bit more towards where the fog is. So we want to just lay in a bunch using like a lighter shade of gray. We're going to gradually get darker. You want to make sure that you're making them all different heights because you don't want it to look too perfect. Trees in nature should not be perfect. Okay, so after this is all done, we are going to start laying in our water. So again, I'm going to just kind of wet the area at the base of these trees because we do want it to look a little bit more like fog. And then I'm going to start focusing on the lower half of the picture here where we're going to have our water. So we want to move left to right, just dragging some streaks of gray across. This is going to create our lake area. You want to mimic the look of where your darker areas are in your picture that is going to reflect in your water. So anywhere where you have a good amount of trees, you want to have that gray showing up in the water underneath that same area. Going to go in now and get darker because these trees are going to be closer to us and coming out of the fog, so they're a little bit more in front of the fog or in the foreground. So we are going to do some darker trees here. So again, you're just using a little bit more pigment just to kind of darken your trees that are going to be closer to us and out of the fog. I'm working fairly small lately with my paintings, but again, you can really apply the same techniques to any size painting. I'm using a little paper towel here to soak out some of the excess water and lighten up the picture. A little trick with watercolor, just using a damp paper towel. You don't want to use a completely dry one, but I use a little bit of a damp paper towel to lift some of the color away. And just feel free to put in the trees wherever you would like to put them in. The darker that you get, the more the trees are going to look closer to you and they're going to look like they're completely out of the fog. So if you make a mistake, you can always go back, add a little bit of water on top of your tree, and then you can use that damp paper towel to remove it, which I actually do here a few times. If you wanted to paint over an area, you saw that I just used the heat gun to dry that area, and now I'm going to add some sticks and basically just some winter trees that are very, very close to us. So again, these are going to be darker. They are out of the fog. They are in front of the fog. So these I'm going to make with my deepest of the gray black. Putting in some little fence line here, just adding some posts that I'm doing vertical, and then I'll go horizontal to attach them to each other. It's funny, I lightened that with a damp paper towel and then I regretted it. So now I'm going back in and darkening them again. You know, honestly, accidents happen. We are not perfect. And I didn't want to delete that part of the video because I think it's important to show you that no matter how experienced you are, you're going to make mistakes and that's okay. And we can learn from them and we can always correct them. When a mistake happens, we can just add some more branches to hide our mistake behind them. Just going back in and darkening some of the areas that I just wanted to make a little bit more crisp. The tips of these trees would be kind of peeking out of that mist. We want the mist to just show through in some areas. Adding a little bit more to my water line down here. I thought that that area was getting a little too washed out. So just going to add a few ripples into our little lake. And I think we are approaching the end of this painting. Just wanted to show you just a damp paper towel to clean my mixing tray. And we're all finished. Time to remove the tape. I hope you guys enjoyed this painting. As always, make sure to hit subscribe and tune in to see some more fun painting and arts and crafts and all things fun and creative. Happy New Year, everyone. Enjoy.